This is your program, correct? Can I just ask politely here if we can address something that I've just seen again on you told me about it yesterday, but then I've seen it on Twitter again that some cretinist capitalist tried purely for mercenary financial gain put out the story with the headline update on Jim Cornette's return to WWE.
Oh, I actually have an article right here. That was going to be the first topic, first question I asked you.
Oh, well, see, great minds think alike, and that makes me scared about my own now. But go ahead then. Don't give these people any credit, but just let's tell the people what the story is so that we can laugh together.
I'm not even sure who to not give credit to. Again, a lot of the listeners started emailing this and tagging us in different things with it. The article I have is from a website that's referencing something that was said on another website. But we don't know exactly what they said. So, without giving any credit to any of these people, sorry. Jim Cornette WWE return update. Amid continued announcements of the 2025 WWE Hall of Fame inductees, questions regarding Jim Cornette's status with WWE came up. Jim Cornette is a name currently missing from the Hall of Fame, despite many names within the industry, including Stone Cold Steve Austin, pushing for him to be inducted.
And by the way, this was like he said this on a podcast or tweeted it, one or the other, or maybe it was a tweet with a quote from a podcast, whatever the case, like a couple years ago, right? This is not like he's engaging in an ongoing flag-waving campaign and going out getting signatures on petitions that he's demanding something. This was a comment that he made, and I appreciate sentiment. This is not new, is what I'm saying, basically, on Steve's part.
What I remember seeing was, I think, a tweet from Steve Austin saying that you and the Midnight Express should be in the Hall of Fame, and I think The Rock may have quote-tweeted it and said, like, I agree. That was my favorite stuff ever.
Well, see, I was trying to also mend the bridge between The Rock and Austin after their many in-ring showdowns. They can come to common ground on how the magnitude of me.
So again, we don't know how this came up, but I'll continue here. I will give credit for where this came from, because maybe then we'll get an answer on some of this. Regarding a possible WWE return for Cornette, Fightful Select reports that his name hasn't come up in creative discussions in recent years. Recent years being a quote. The report specifies that this isn't in a, quote, we aren't bringing him in way, just that the belief within the company is that Cornette is successful and content with his current projects. Cornette hosts 2 weekly podcasts, The Drive-Thru and The Experience, in which he reviews WWE and AEW shows, as well as discussing topical news from around the industry.
Topical. Always topical.
Cornette was on hand in 2017 to induct the Rock and Roll Express into the WWE Hall of Fame, but hasn't made any appearances for the company since then. During the WWE Thunderdome shows...
Wait a minute. Except for the constant reuse of video sit-down interviews that I shot 10 years ago to where I was still popping up on A&E last year. But I did sign the release. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. There's Stephen P. New will not be hearing about this.
During the WWE Thunderdome shows in the pandemic, a collection of banned fan signs and images emerged that featured Cornette's face logo. There have been 2 members of the WWE Hall of Fame class.
Well, wait a minute. That's because they didn't want me to be selling T-shirts. Because I was out selling some of their own talent.
There have been 2 members of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2025 announced thus far, Triple H and Michelle McCool.
You know, if I had only married into the Hall of Fame, think about it. So far, everybody announced for this year's Hall of Fame is a spouse of somebody.
Well, there is a rumor that going in this year, and we'll see because they just signed Legends deals, ending years of bad feelings between WWE and Bill Eadie, but Demolition, which from a WWE end is a major omission in the Hall of Fame. For kids who grew up who were my age, they were the biggest thing.
There you go. There's the tag team then, and now that they've mended that fence or whatever. But the point being, back to this story. So the update was there is no update because nobody's talking on either side to anybody about anything. But they had to stick my name in the headline, Brian.
See, that's the question. Did Fightful select, was it a Q&A show where they were answering questions from, subscribers? And then this guy, whoever wrote this, I don't even think there's a name. Oh, is there a name? There is a name. It's a woman. Amanda Savage. Did she...
Well, wait a minute. It might be a nom de plume. Think of Amanda Savage. That could kind of be a fucking ring name.
Okay, look, we don't know who this person is, but did they just hear the Fightful Select thing and go, hey, there's a headline that isn't right there? It's about Cornette. We'll get some clicks. Update on his return. There's no update. Back after this.
But, and again, it's nice that the company appears to have a better grip on basically what I think our relationship is than many of the fans do. Like, oh, he's mad they won't bring him back, or how they're trying to bring him back, or all this other gaga speculation, as the Dream Machine would say. They're happy doing their thing, and I'm happy doing my thing, and I'm happy that they're happy. Except if they start trying to do my thing, then I'd have to do something about that.
And you'd have some help. The idea that Fightful went to their WWE source and was told that, however that was originally phrased, they believe you are successful and content with your current projects. Do you think a lot of that is the idea that what that really means is he has no incentive to sign one of our one-way Legends deals?
Well,
and we're not putting anyone in the Hall of Fame unless they sign one?
And, well, is that a rule these days? Now, there's a new administration. I'm in all honesty, I would like some feedback from some of the little birds that sometimes tweet in our ears as far as if you do go in the Hall of Fame still to this day, do you have to sign a contract giving any kind of rights to the company for your name and likeness for any period of time, or obligating you to do certain things or whatever? What are the deals that's being done these days? I'd like to hear that. The first question that I asked him for the 2017 Hall of Fame to induct the Rock and Roll Express was, and what was the fucking guy's name? Talent relations guy. They fired him. Garbage Bag was involved.
Oh, what was his name? I know who you're talking about.
God damn it.
Was it Seaman? Was it Canyon Seaman?
No, I never met. Oh, man.
Mr. Seaman?
I never met Mr. Seaman. But goddamn, when I heard about it, I popped, and I always wanted to, just to see what he looked like. But anyway, Mark Carano. Does that name sound familiar?
Yeah.
Is that a mechanic at my fucking local Valvoline?
I think that's it.
Okay, well, anyway, I asked him, I said, I'm inducting these people. Is there any contractual commitment past the one-night appearance and signing a release for any footage or whatever that I do, the work that I do, to be released on an ongoing basis, but there's no other commitment? He said, no, you're fine. I said, okay. So that's what my deal was. But I don't know what they're doing with the inductees these days.
I think that's part of the issue, why they know there's an issue, because they want guys. There's no WWE legend that does the business you do, respectfully of everyone. Ric Flair can find some sucker to, say, like, hey, we'll slap your name on this jar of pickles or whatever the fuck they're doing.
Don't malign these people calling them suckers. Some of them might be Egyptians.
No, but I'm saying your business doesn't rely on hoping you find an angel. Your business relies on you actually have a business, unlike a lot of people. That's why you're not in a position that a lot of veterans are in, where they kind of have to say yes to anything. I think that's part of the issue with WWE, because they don't have leverage over you.
Well, God damn it, that crowbar, I'll tell you what, up the ass. No, thank you for, giving a more self-aggrandizing estimate of my current popularity and tremendous success than I would have been able to do myself. And as a matter of fact, I didn't know I could type that quick where I could send it right to you. You could read it right off. But that, again, for guys who have gotten older that they can't wrestle anymore, whether the pandemic cut down autograph sessions or the just point is they've had health issues or whatever, I think that those type of legends deals are great if they could give those people them. I think for, the guys like whoever the big names are, the main event inductees, they're probably negotiated somewhat separately and they still have the chance to do their own things or whatever the fuck. But I don't want, as I've said for about 5 years or more now, I don't want to be obligated to anybody to do anything that I don't want to do except me. I make myself do things I don't want to do all the fucking time. But I don't want to be obligated to do anything for anybody, and therefore I don't want anybody to be obligated to pay me money for anything that I might not want to fucking do. And I do my own thing, and we do our own thing, and we own all of our things, and we play with our own things and leave other people's things alone. And they should keep their hands off my things. Did I make myself clear about this whole thing?
I believe so. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, all audio issues will be fixed in the future. But
oh, God damn it! I moved again.
I think
here I'm moving this cord around now, and I bet you it won't do anything. Now.
It wasn't that. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. It was a simple issue, but I need the brain surgeon Hotchkiss to show up first.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is, if I was WWE and I was trying to play it smart, if I want you in the Hall of Fame, I'm waiting until they do the WrestleMania in Indianapolis because it's close enough. I can convince you to drive.
I'll drive to Indianapolis. I'm not agreeing to go in, but I would potentially drive to Indianapolis.
See, at least there'd be a connection to Jim Cornette. Like, you wouldn't want it to be like, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame, we're inducting you in Omaha. Like, there's no connection at all to Jim Cornette. There's a connection with Indianapolis wrestling.
Technically, that is the first wrestling I ever saw, a story which we won't go into again because it's been told so many times. But yes, so, and also the home of Bobby Heenan, my spiritual mentor as a child and all that. So yes, there's a connection there. But what quota slot would I be fulfilling in the on the list? Do they have a category for
blind people?
Ex-fat male managers?
They do, but it's not called that. but technically, if you look at who's in there, you may be in some good company.
Well, I don't know about the ex-fat. I may be on a hill all by myself.
Maybe they don't have to put you in. Maybe they can get around it. They could just give you the Warrior Award.
Only if Patty they got rid of that. Plays me to the ring.
They got rid of that. They got rid of the Warrior Award.
They got rid of Mrs. Warrior, too. But
well, that's the update on the update.
Yes.
Jim Cornette's WWE return. Stay tuned. We'll tell you more next week about his AEW return. We'll have news, exclusive news next week here on this show about Jim Cornette's AEW return. Stay tuned for that.
Hey, Jim, you going back to AEW? No.
Well, again, we don't want to play spoiler. Next week on the show, we'll talk about this.